Hey there, everybody, Mazarok here, and today we've got some tank nerfs, some tank buffs, Mistweaver, Assassination Rogue, and we also got dungeon nerfs to talk about, so let's get right into it. They are making changes to the Exodia composition, I guess is what we want to call it. So, Guardian Druids, again, if you've watched any of my buff nerfs videos, anything like that, this is always what they do to bear. The absorb granted from Ursoc's Fury is now reduced to 45% of the damage dealt was 50. They do not know what knobs to tune for bear at all. They don't. This is the only thing they think will work, and it's just not the case. There are other abilities that they can tune that I think would make bear just a little bit more in line. And this is a very fine line to skirt for them with Ursoc's Fury, and it's literally going to be do or die. You're either going to, if you bring this down too low, you are going to murder the spec. There's no average here. I just don't think that. Like, it's either, it's just enough where it's more than fine, or it's dead. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, because there's another tank that's getting another change. If you can guess what it is, by the way, it is Protection Warrior, but guess what they're touching for Protection Warrior. And let me know down in the comment section down below if you guessed which talent they're buffing for Protection Warrior, because they think that's the knob that they need to tune to make that spec good. Innate Resolve's bonus to Frenzied Regeneration is reduced to 120%, was 150%. Now, this is something that I actually fully agree was warranted. Innate Resolve got changed coming into 10.1.5. In 150% extra bonus healing versus its regular 32%, depending on how much health that you're missing, is kind of a lot. And that being brought down to 120%, I think is actually fairly warranted, right? It's kind of okay. Now, this is a small thing coming up for Vengeance Demon Hunters, but for me, in my head, I love this to death. Now, this was also mainly a quaking thing, which drove me up the wall here, but there are instances where, and there's going to be future instances where, my goodness, I'm happy this happens, but Fell Devastation is no longer interrupted by School Effect lockouts. Why couldn't this have happened years ago in Shadowlands? I might have actually liked, Vengeance, because it seemed, for some odd reason, it seemed whenever I played it was always Quaking Weeks, and that drove me up the wall. But whatever. This is huge for you VDHs out there for this season and many other future seasons, right? Where you might look back on this change and be like, God, that was a good change. Mage, Fire Mage stuff, yeah, cool. Getting nerfs, okay. I have no idea what this represents for the Fire Mages, whatever. Mistweaver's Ancient Teachings now transfers 150% of the damage done, which was 135. Yulon's Grace now stacks up to 15% max health, was 10. It stacks 3% per second, which is the new Diffuse Magic change thing, okay. Chikakun's Absorb is increased by 100%. And Enveloping his Breath Healing is increased by 12%. So, yeah, some Mistweaver buffs. I don't know if that's enough. I couldn't tell you. But they're getting buffed, which is nice. Holy Paladin. All damage decreased by 10%. And Blessing of Summer now causes attacks to deal 20% additional damage as Holy was 25. And Blessing of Summer remains whenever at PvP combat. The Holy Paladin damage output is very high. They want to see it come down, considering their toolkit as a whole. That's fair. That's cool. Assassination Rogue! Yeah! All ability damage increased by 5%, and auto attack damage increased by 5%. Now, this is something I'm very happy about, because I'm obviously playing Assassination Rogue in the Zero to Hero series that we're doing, and just being able to get a nice buff to my damage is really, really fun. So, yeah. Protection Warrior. Now, did you guess it right? Did you guess it right? It's defensive stance, because of course it is. Just for some odd reason, they think this is the button they need to tune for defensive stance. Now, this is getting buffed, so defensive stance's reduction to damage dealt is reduced to 5%, which was 10%. So now if you sit in defensive stance, you will only do 5% less damage instead of 10% less damage. And I don't know why Number one, you're never in defensive stance for longer than 3 seconds anyway, right? You're using it as a defensive to get through something. So, like, okay, every time I run out of a defensive and I need something, I deal 5% less. I do 5% more damage for 3 seconds, okay? I guess this is for the people that live in defensive stance, maybe. That could be it. I'm just, I don't know. Blizzard doesn't know what knobs to tune for this spec, but we did get some other buffs. Spell reflection damage reduction is increased to 25%, which was 20. So having a 25% magic DR on a 20-second cooldown is incredibly nice, and that is pretty dope. I will take it. And Vanguard's increased to stamina. Now this is the passive that we get, is increased to 35%, which was 30. So now we're just going to have a little bit more health. I don't know if more health is the answer here. Like, they keep tuning that knob to make healing a thing. I don't know if this is going to be a thing, but, like, okay, cool. We have more health. We can live more hits, right? At the end of the day, whatever. More health, more hits. Plain and simple. I have a tank wish list already video done that I talk about what I would like to see for Protection Warrior and some other specs as well. So I'll link that down below. That kind of explains a lot things a lot better than I could here in the short amount of time that I could talk about these like these buffs and stuff. So I'll leave that down below, but like my goodness, man. I don't think Blizzard understands what use defensive stance is. Like I don't or how it's used. I don't know. Spell reflect, yeah, this is the spell reflect damage, super nice, more health. I love it. Assassination Rogue, let's go. Havoc, this is such an underrated change. I've been wanting this for so long. When I read this last night for Vengeance, I will admit I was legitimately excited when I read this on stream. Like total off, like yes. Innate Resolve, good change. Blizzard, stop fucking touching Ursoc's Fury. Okay? Can you please just stop touching Ursoc's Fury? This isn't the ability to tune. Okay? It's things like Blood Frenzy. What enables Bear to be Bear is things like Blood Frenzy. Like, whatever. There's some nerfs. I'm sad to see Bear getting hit with this specifically. I'm not saying that Bear doesn't need to be kind of toned down just a little bit, but whatever. And then we get some buffs to Vengeance. We get some buffs to, well, slight buff to Vengeance. Very slight buff to Vengeance. But an actual buff to Prot Warrior. So we'll see what happens. What do you think of these changes? Do they need more? Do they need less? I don't understand. Okay, yeah, actually, I did talk about this on stream a little bit, and I said I thought I'd mention it. I don't understand how Brewmaster's survivability isn't getting buffed. I don't know. I don't understand what mentality is going on there. I just don't understand how like hashtag buff for Brewmaster. Like I and I actually almost forgot an upcoming plan to change how Mythic Plus scales after level 20 keystones. So kind of the way it works is above the level 20 keystone, each additional keystone level will now increase enemy health and damage by 8%, which was 10%. Now, this is happening on the weekly reset, along with all of the buffs and nerfs and stuff that I just talked about. And a lot of that has to do with the old Exodia comp or whatever was able to do these higher keys. They nerfed that down, but they didn't buff any other specs to be able to compensate enough to be able to do that level of key, essentially locking in the title already. So they're trying to make things a little bit easier. So as you can see here, the enemy health damage modifiers, this is the old modifier, and this is the new modifier of what it kind of looks like. I'll post the Wowhead link to this in the description down below. So this was this is going to be scaling for season 2 and all of that. So it is a nerf to the dungeons. Is it going to be enough? Who knows? Hope you guys are having a great day. Enjoy some coffee. Happy tanking. Bye.